Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Still City Commuters podcast. I am Nicholas Brown, joined here with the birthday boy, Austin Cairns, and today is a very big episode. We are 50 episodes in here at Still City Commuters, and that means a lot to me. 50 episodes ago, never even thought this podcast would have launched. But, anyways, 50 episodes in, the amount of guests that we've had on, the amount of interactions that we've had on, and the friendships and memories that this podcast has created. Austin, I would have never guessed 50 episodes would have been today. It's your birthday. How's everything going in Carnegie? It's good to see you via Zoom.
It's good to see you too. Mother Nature decided to give me the first gift of the day, that of course being a bunch of snow outside. My goodness, there was a lot of it. But as you said, I got my little birthday sash here. I don't know if anybody can see it or not. Wearing a little birthday sash today. I am turning 22 years
You're an
old.
unk.
I have reached unk status according to my friends. So thank you very much, Nick, for reminding me. But no, this is a great opportunity. I mean, what a milestone we just hit. Who would have thought Steel City Commuters would have lasted 50 episodes? I thought it was a one and done thing for our class, for Professor Issa, but we ended up taking it seriously, putting in every single week we put out an episode every Wednesday. Of course, this was recorded on Tuesday, which is my birthday, posted a day later, and I couldn't have been more honored to have done it with you, Nick. Obviously, this podcast has brought us both closer in our friendship, and it's given you the opportunity to even started helping me behind the scenes on two Jagoffs as well, which of course is my baby at heart. So, love Steel City Commuters. I love everybody that's listening. So, thank you all so much for the support. Let's get ready for another 50.
Let's get ready for another 50. If you think about it, actually, Still City would be, because there's 52 weeks in a year, would be a year old in 2 weeks. Because think about it, of the semester and how everything is going. We
Yeah.
started this podcast just 2 weeks last year at this time. And I honestly don't even remember what the first episodes were about. I just remember half of them because of what we do every week and the amount of banner that we go through. I can't even remember, God, hell, I don't even remember what we did 2 episodes ago.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's the good thing about putting out content is if you don't remember what you did within a year, then that just obviously means that you are doing a pretty darn good job getting the content out. I mean, like if you're remembering every single piece of content that you did, you're not putting enough out. So I'm happy to say that we have put so much out that we are already starting to forget what we did. But my goodness, speaking of content, I feel like the best way to start off this episode is actually with last week's episode, episode 49. I want to go that direction. Megan Lukic from the Have a Shift Day podcast. We have now gotten three different members on both of the podcasts. Nick Shermito joined Lucas and I over on Two Jagoffs. Ryan Jones, of course, joined both of us here on Steel City Commuters. We're looking to get Jake Levinsky on. Don't worry, we didn't forget about Jake. I was just talking about it yesterday in class. But what did you think of Megan coming on the podcast? You shared some cowboy odds with us. Obviously, she talked about hockey and her internship and everything. I love that episode. What did you think of it?
Megan was really cool. Specifically, they have a different dynamic, I should say, over at Have a Shift Day. There's four people that co-host an episode every week. And she kind of walked us through what that is like because they do different game shows, they do trivia. And compared to us, we're more laid back. We do get into it, but having four people, she's like the center of every episode. Specifically, she walked us through what Have a Shift Day is like, but also her internship as a Pittsburgh Penguins. I thought it was a very unique internship for what she does, the amount of media interactions she gets to be able to do every day. Megan is really cool, and I'm excited for Have a Shift Day because, again, once you're a podcaster, you intertwine with all the different podcasters.
Totally agree with you. And I really enjoyed that episode too because, like McKenna and like Ryan, both of the Ryans for that, and like every other fellow sports comp student that we've actually had on Steel City, she played into the banter. She understood it. She understood our context. There was a second where I don't think it was her intention, but she cut a promo on Nick Shermito mid-episode because of what Nick Shermito said about her on Two Jagoffs and the whole 6-7 jokes. So I guess you could see that our wrestling promos and love for wrestling is starting to wear off on others now, which is pretty funny. But in all seriousness, Megan's great. That was a great episode. That wasn't the only guest we had on this past week. Two Jagoffs had Nick Lendl on, IWC wrestling commentator, done a lot of boxing, WWE, Ring of Honor, AEW, and he came on the podcast. You were actually there behind the scenes for it. You got to shoot the promo and everything. There were some travel issues on the way there, and I can actually say this because I have permission from my good friend Joe Dombrowski. Nick Lendl was apparently not the best when it comes to traveling and directions. So Nick Lendl, in Nick Lendl fashion, was a little late, but totally not his fault. It was the Uber or Lyft or whatever he decided to take to get there. But once he got there, I had a great time with it. From your perspective, though, Nick, what did you think of the other Nick?
Nick was actually very personable, even though he was late and he was frustrated with travel time. He did have the time to talk with both of us, especially talk with me before you guys shot the episode. And especially, doing the promo and just how everything lines up together, making sure that you know what you're going to say in the promo, how you're going to respond to a promo. Because sometimes in the promo, you don't even know the direction that you're going to go in. That's something with you. You don't even specifically tell me. I mean, you do tell me where to stand, but what you're going to say and how you guys are going to do it, nothing is kind of pre-planned. So Nick was very good with this. And in the episode too, Nick talked about specifically doing commentary with you. And I thought that was very personal because a lot of times when you have guests come on, they just talk about their experience and their relations. They don't actually talk about what it means to be a colleague near you.
No, great point. And I'm Nick Lendl is one of my mentors. Obviously, we've had Toddy Tundare on. We've had Nick Lendl on. We've had Joe Dombrowski on. These are all people that I've worked very close with doing commentary. These are all people that I've had the chance to go to wrestling events with, get in the car, travel, pick their brain, learn a little bit from. And Nick has always been one of the guys that's always been blunt, honest, and open, always sharing some love with me, give me the right criticism when needed, and of course push me in the right direction, push me to be a better person and a better commentator. So I have nothing but love and respect for Nick Lendl. If you're listening out there, Nick, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. And one of my favorite parts of that episode too was the unfiltered side of him. I mean, when I say unfiltered, I'm not talking about F bombs left and right because Nick didn't do that. But we've had guests that done that. But I do it sometimes. But Nick Lendl, what I mean by unfiltered is he didn't hold back. He shared like, hey, listen, I'll be honest with you. I don't really like commentary. I'm more of a ring announcer, but I do it because that's my passion. That's what I want to do. That's what you have to do. You have to do things you don't want to do to make it in this business. And coming from someone who's as established as him, I gained more respect for him by how unfiltered he was and how open he was.
I think Nick sets a precedent for people that maybe don't want to follow a career, certain path line. If you're going to do it eventually, just get it out of the way and do it. Get that experience under your belt.
Yes,
Even though you don't like it, you're just do it now because you have that experience. And once you have that experience, that's something you can carry along with you no matter where you go.
totally agree. Totally agree. I do want to change directions of this conversation though a little bit. The title of this episode, or part of the title, I should say, is our Thanksgiving recap. Of course, Thanksgiving was last week. We didn't do a Thanksgiving special because I figured we could just talk about it today since we had Megan on last week. But we did all share what we were thankful for. So if you want to hear what Nick and I are thankful for, go check out Megan Lukic's episode. That's episode 49 of Steel City Commuters. But today, instead of saying what we're thankful for again, let's actually talk about our Thanksgiving plans. I'm going to start with you, Nick, first. What did you do on the holiday this year?
I went to three different houses to eat, so I was stuffed.
Damn,
I was stuffed.
three.
Three. I was stuffed after one house, and I had to pace myself again. Ate again around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then I ate again around 7:30. Again, it's always great time hanging out with well, not even cousins, family, and just getting together for all the holidays. What we normally do. I did go attempt to go Black Friday shopping on Friday. I got 4 hours of sleep the night before, so I was exhausted by the time Friday rolled around. I will say I was very disappointed in Black Friday this year. I think the consumers are willing to spend, but my God, I don't think I'm ever going to go Black Friday shopping again at Ross Park Mall. That was just atrocious. I couldn't buy anything. No fitting rooms were open. I missed out on the Target line on the gift bag. I mean, let's be honest, that gift bag was lame. It wasn't even filled with goodies. I was just so exhausted by Thursday night. Friday, I should have just slept in, but instead, we went Black Friday shopping. Didn't find anything. The deal's even online this year, even for Cyber Monday. God awful.
Yeah, and I won't get into the whole economic or political side of things when it comes to how expensive the holidays are this time of year, but let's just say it is not cheap. Not cheap at all, especially for us broke college boys. My Thanksgiving, though, was rather fun and interesting. I didn't go to three houses. I did go to two, though. I actually started off working that day because Friendly Paw Littles, they need workers, obviously, on the holidays. The dogs need some love even during the holiday season. So I clocked in with my sister and cousin right at 7 a.m., and we worked all the way up till 11 a.m. So only 4 hours, but you get paid time and a half, so it's obviously a bonus for me. Then after that, we went over to my nunny's house. Now, my nunny doesn't like the traditional Thanksgiving food. She's not a fan of turkey. She's not a fan of, not even ham, nothing. None of that shebang. So we had a typical Italian spaghetti and meatball dish for lunch. Why not? We had a nice spaghetti and meatball lunch. And then when we went over to my pappy's house on my mom's side of the family later in the day, that is where we had our typical Thanksgiving feast. Your turkey, your cornbread, your corn, your mashed potatoes and gravy, the pumpkin pie, all the fun stuff that you love to eat on Thanksgiving, we had over there. And essentially, my Thanksgiving was watching my dad watch the Kansas City Chiefs play against the Dallas Cowboys, which I see the shit grin on your face. Obviously, that just shows how happy you are. Cowboys did win that game in dominant fashion, so kudos to them. But it was rather fun watching my dad watch them, watching my uncle and grandfather drink a little bit, and then, of course, watching and hanging out with my cousins. It's always great to spend time with family, the ones that you love the most. Most of my Thanksgiving, though, I'll be honest with you, Nick. I'm going to be 100% honest when I say this. I was actually into the football games most of the time. I usually don't watch the football games as close as I do any other week because I like to spend time with family or sometimes I'm on my phone talking to friends. I was actually invested in all three games this year. The Lions lost on Thanksgiving, last 8 of the 9 years. Are we really surprised by that? Then, of course, you've got the Cowboys beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sorry, I gotta start laughing.
I have no idea where my bracket is. How the
I don't
fuck
think
did
you
you know?
understand. Hold on, time out. I'm over here trying to talk about the Cowboys, and your little camera feature is zooming in slowly and slowly and slowly onto you. I hope that picked up. Oh, that's beautiful.
I think it did.
But no, long story short, all three games were really good. Look, there it is again. It's doing it again.
I'm done. Oh, my bracket's right here in front of me, folded up.
Oh my God. It's in
God.
your damn hands.
I need more coffee. You have any more coffee over there?
I don't got no damn coffee for your little nutcracker mug. No. You had it in your hand the whole time. I saw you waving it as you're looking for it.
I yes, there is this new camera feature because I like to go off the rails. It specifically zooms in to make sure I'm always focused and in center, in picture. And I forgot when turning around that it was actually going to do it. So apologies to myself. I'm old. I'm not used to this technology.
I'm older than you.
Hush.
All right. But
Okay.
no, Thanksgiving was great. I didn't go Black Friday shopping like Nick Brown did. I actually did something else on Thanksgiving, which I'll get into in a second. I want to keep talking over Nick, but I'll talk about my 880 Thanksgiving bash the day before. That was amazing. But go ahead, Nick. Go
No, I
ahead.
think we should get to that. I think that was very interesting at the Penn Brewery
Yes,
because starting this week, starting Thursday, so tomorrow night, um, Thursday night fights, 880 Wrestling is no longer in the South Side. It is
nope.
moving to Allentown in the Bottle Rocket Warehouse. A new scenery, new location, but also just for you, Austin. I think you have to go to South Side tomorrow. There's a special Thursday night fights at the shop.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening to some guy named John and Clayton King on Facebook on my birthday post. They tried luring me back to the South Side because they didn't want to see me there. No, damn it. I will be at 829 Industry Street in Allentown tomorrow for the debut of Chapter 3 of 880 Wrestling in the warehouse. That's what we're calling it. It's the warehouse. But yeah, no, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a new opportunity for us.
I will
Very.
say I'm very excited to actually see how this all transforms because once there's a new chapter in 880, there's typically a new chapter in duos and fights. So I'm eager to see how John and Clayton kind of play all this out because they're unpredictable. I have no idea where they're going to go. And I think Penn Brewery actually set the precedent for where they were actually moving to in their storyline.
Totally agree. And I mean, the Penn Brewery show itself, I feel like that's a good topic to bring up now. Thanksgiving Bash. That was this past Wednesday. It was Wednesday, November 26th, the day before Thanksgiving. And this was my second time ever calling a Penn Brewery show. I was on call with Toddy Tondera, friend of the show, obviously. And we got to call my first ever ladder match, which was the start of the show, which was absolute insanity. There was 8 bodies flying around the entire time. Then there was multiple championship matches. Effie was there, Billy Dixon was there, leaders were there, and the main event itself for the hardcore title, which was like a free for all. It was Reese Hayes and David Lawless, one on one, title versus career. Where of course, unfortunately, Reese Hayes did pick up the victory. He is now 6-0 against the gavel. David Lawless now officially is retired from 880 Wrestling. And to David Lawless, who took the time to come on to Jagoffs, took the time to speak with me, took the time to even reach out and talk to you a little bit on Facebook. I think you guys were commenting on each other's post at one point or something like that. Or you commented on his post and he liked it. But David Lawless, thank you so much for everything that you've done. Thank you so much for being a leader, for being a pioneer, for being a visionary, for being someone that I could look up to as a mentor. You're one of the very best out there. Keep kicking ass over in the other companies, but for 880's sake, thank you to the gavel. With that being said, after that match was over and we went off the air, this was off the record now. Everybody got in the ring, or at least everyone that was close. Casey, BSJ, Gannon was surprisingly there. Gannon Jones Jr., Lee Moriarty from AEW, a fellow AEW guy, if you want to be funny like that. And then there was a couple other people that got in the ring too. Gianni, Toddy, Eamon, myself. And David Lawless went around and thanked everybody. He gave everybody a big hug. He gave his final speech, which he mentioned me and two Jagoffs in it, which is just absolutely crazy that I'm even being mentioned in a retirement speech. So, again, kudos and thank you to David Lawless. And it was an emotional night. I did not cry. I thought I was going to. I shed a little tear. I'm not going to lie. I did shed a little tear when he was giving his speech. But it was an emotional night. It was a bittersweet night. But damn it, it was a fun night. What a successful event. Can't wait for Chapter 3 of 880 now. What a perfect way to end off Chapter 2.
If I was versing Reese Hayes, Reese would be 6-1. So,
Oh. Are you challenging amateur wrestler Reese Hayes now? Is that what you're trying to do here?
yes.
You listen, I don't like Reese Hayes. I
Well, there
despise
you
Reese Hayes
go.
actually.
You don't even have to commentate over
He's the
our
one
match.
that's
You can join me in the ring.
no, because Reese Hayes is the one that's responsible for always kicking me off commentary. He's the one that started this trend, and John Clayton and Marco eventually caught on to it. So, no, no, not happening.
Don't you want to
Absolutely
get
not.
back at Reese then for kicking you off commentary?
I'm not a wrestler. Do I look like a wrestler to you? I'm built like a toothpick.
Neither do I, but guess what? I'm still going at it because that's what people do. That's what you do. If you're out for a mission, you have to fight for that mission.
All right, well, you can fight for that. You could be my caddy, secretary, and now a professional wrestler. How about that?
And time and a half pay for all this.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure I send your bingo incentives your way. Don't you worry.
Perfect.
Well, 880 isn't the only wrestling event that's taking place this week. There's actually another big one that I'll be on commentary for. IWC Wrestling. Their final show of the year is taking place this Saturday. It is the 8th annual Pittsburgh Classic. A lot of matches already announced. The Battle Royal is going to happen. There is going to be Duke Davis versus Jamie Jameson. Maserati Wes Barkley versus Marcus D'Angelo for the high stakes title, amongst several other matches. But the big one, the one that everybody is talking about, is Team Justin Plummer versus Team Jock Sampson. Winner gets full ownership of IWC. Team Justin has Anthony Katina and Cannon Christopher, and Team Jock Sampson has Elijah Dean and Andrew Palace. The winner of that match, of course, will be contested. I mean, the way this match will be contested under is a ladder match. So it's a tag team ladder match. It's going to be absolute insanity. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to be on call for it. What's your thoughts over on IWC, Nick?
Give me Andrew Palace and give me Elijah Dean.
Ooh, I like that pick.
Oh, plus Andrew, AP's a good friend of this podcast,
Yes.
Two Jagoffs Live, myself, and Elijah Dean's also a good friend in the industry. So give me them too. You can't bet against Andrew Palace. If you're gonna bet against Andrew Palace, there is something deeply wrong with you because Andrew Palace will put you through a table.
Willie?
I mean, you experienced it firsthand.
You're such an ass.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you really want to contest to that, we have pictures. It was in your birthday post. Palace posted it on his story.
Thank you for reminding me of getting choke slammed through a table on my birthday by Andrew Palace, by the way.
Anytime, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But
But
yeah,
no,
no, that's
IWC will be interesting. It's the last show of the season of this year. And again, as you head into next year, next season, there's always a new storyline. If Andrew Palace and Elijah Dean are able to take control, does that mean you actually get to keep commentary? Will you get kicked off again?
well, I don't get kicked off over an IWC. That's the good thing about it. I don't got to worry about them scumbag leaders by example over there. I get to actually do my due diligence and do my job, which is call the show and call the action the way I see it, entertain the fans listening at home and all around the world on Triller TV and IWC Network or IndieWrestling.us, depending on what company you're watching. But no, I'm not getting kicked off commentary there. And Palace, I hope you win, my friend, but I'm not gonna lie. I hope you also get hit with a ladder too. I really do.
Whoa,
I'm
throwing
serious. He
shots at
put me
Andrew
through a
Palace.
table. He put me through a table.
I don't care if he puts you through a table. Throwing shots at Andrew Palace, a former guest
Oh
on
my God.
Two Jagoffs Live, and any other social media platform is just I'm going to be kind. It's not appreciated. It's unacceptable. You're out. Get your ass out of here.
Can we at least agree on one thing? There is one guest that we are allowed to talk trash on, and that's some guy named John. That's the one guest we can talk trash on because he was disrespectful to all of us, including you.
Yes, but maybe he made up with me. You never know.
Yeah, don't even start. John hates both of us for whatever reason, but that's okay. That's okay.
He's welcome on this podcast anytime.
Well, John is actually going on the Wrestling Mayhem podcast. Well, by the time this gets posted, it already happened last night. But Tuesday night, he'll be on the same Wrestling Mayhem podcast with Sorg, the one that I was on. So hopefully, some guy named John isn't yapping and picking on Sorg like he did us. So poor.
Somehow we'll probably be intertwined in that convo.
I swear, if I get brought up in that podcast, I'm gonna lose it.
Well, we'll have to continue. We'll have to maybe monitor it and have a good discussion about it if somebody gets mentioned.
Well, yeah, I'll be watching. Don't you worry. I'll be watching. Anyway, let's get to our final topic of the day. There's a big one that we're missing here, and I feel like this is the one most people have been waiting for. Let's talk the NFL. Now, I actually want to hold off on talking the Cowboys for right now because I know that the Cowboys beating the Kansas City Chiefs is big, but I would argue that this loss is actually bigger than the Cowboys win. And I know this is something both of us discussed over the phone, and I know you were actually pretty upset by it, Nick Brown. You could not make the final radio show of the year on Monday, the Austin Cairns radio show, WPPJ 670 AM station, but you shared with me in private your feelings and thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers losing to the Buffalo Bills 23-7. I'm going to give you the floor first. Tell me about that Steelers loss. Why does it upset you so much?
When you're this deep into the season, week 13 specifically, and playoff implications are on the line, I don't even know how you just can score 7 points. How do you put in a quarterback that has 3 or 4 broken ligaments, tears in his hand, and has a whole cast? How do you put in another with a broken nose as well? How can you have an offense that you can't even get the ball to? You're trying to run the same plays. You have a defense that did okay in the beginning, but made no whatsoever big time plays. How does Mike Tomlin still have a job? How does Arthur Smith still have a job? How does this whole coaching staff still have a job? I'm not exactly sure this team should be going to the playoffs. They have a big game this week against the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar isn't playing up to his standards. We saw what happened Thursday night, Thanksgiving night. That game was also atrocious when you have a quarterback, Joe Burrow, making his first return deep into the season. He looked phenomenal. We're not rolling out a 4-18. This AFC North, specifically the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's embarrassing to Pittsburgh. It's embarrassing to this community. When you have fans booing Renegade, when you have fans chanting fire Mike Tomlin, I'm sorry. I have no idea what Art Rooney is doing and what the Rooneys are doing. You should be having internal discussions saying our next step should be plan A, plan B, plan C. Fire Tomlin, fire Arthur Smith. For crying out loud, Austin. Joe Starkey of the Post Gazette says he is nowhere to begin, and I thought this was the best idea. Bring back Matt Canada and let him run the defense too. Call me 1-800-3-and-out. This is just absurd that we're talking about this week 13. Playoff implications are on the line. TJ Watt seems very frustrated. Mike Tomlin says, yeah, it was a very poor performance. In response to what do you say to people that are firing Mike Tomlin? I agree with them. It was a poor performance. Okay, you just stand there every game and you have like no facial expressions. You make no adjustments whatsoever. It's literally the same plays week in and week out. When you have a quarterback that can't throw the ball with his, what is it, his left hand, or he had to do it with his left hand because of his right hand or vice versa, no matter what, when you run the same plays over and over again, this Josh Allen and the Bills team, they're banged up too. Anybody can read the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is atrocious. Week 13. What in the hell are you doing? You have to wake up. This is every week. You cannot be expecting to go to the playoffs and score 7 points and give up 24. Does not happen. Mathematically eliminated. You should be eliminated already. We shouldn't even be talking about playoff implications because, again, Mike Tomlin winning season. Yeah, bada, bada, bada. I'm done. This team, I can't talk about this anymore. I don't even want to think about it. The only team that's representing Pittsburgh right now are the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Period. End of story.
Go Hounds.
Do you share the same thoughts? I don't know. I don't even want to pick them next week. I honestly want to pick Baltimore.
For those who listen to the Austin Carnes radio show on Monday, you're already going to hear my same thoughts, but I will restate it here on Steel City, and I'm probably going to do the same tomorrow on Two Jagoffs. I personally don't believe that it is time to get rid of Mike Tomlin. I believe it was it should have been time a long time ago. Listen, when you're coaching the team of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that is represented in the City of Champions, the Steel City, Pittsburgh, we expect championships. We expect success. We expect the best of all three of our major, all, we, it's my birthday, damn it, give me a break. We want success. We simply want the best for each and every single one of our teams. The simple fact of the matter is this: Mike Tomlin has not won a playoff game since 2016. It has been 9 long years, Nicholas Brown. Going into 2026, it's going to be a decade. You want to call me Unk for being 22? I'm going to call Mike Tomlin and his coaching staff Unk for not even winning a playoff game in almost 10 long years. So, yes, I fully agree with you. I believe it should not be time right now. It should have been time a long time ago to get rid of Mike Tomlin, to make a new regime change. I will say this: Mike Tomlin is not a bad head coach. You cannot go on national television and say Mike Tomlin is bad at anything that he does with his job. He is a phenomenal head coach. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is going, if he left the Pittsburgh Steelers today, I guarantee you there's 20 plus teams calling him up immediately to be their next head coach. But the simple fact is this: it is a broken relationship. It is broken beyond repair. I feel like Mike Tomlin is kind of in the same boat that Mike Sullivan was in last year for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sully got a job instantly with the New York Rangers. They're on the uprise, and the Pittsburgh Penguins, although they're banged up, they're going to be one of the top contending teams this year in the Metro. But what happened? Why did we get rid of Mike Sullivan? Why did the Pittsburgh Penguins move on to a different direction with Dan Muse? Because the relationship was stale. Teams were getting better, stronger, and younger and quicker. They were starting to figure things out. So the Pittsburgh Penguins had to go their separate ways, and Mike Sullivan had to go his separate ways. This reminds me a lot of Andy Reid, Nicholas Brown. It's the same point that I brought up to you earlier this year. When Andy Reid was the former head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, they were an amazing team. They were one of the best in the NFC. They ran through the Cowboys every year. They ran through the Giants every year. They ran through the Commanders, Redskins at the time. And they were even in the Super Bowl. They lost to the New England Patriots and Tom Brady when Tom Brady was having one of his down years. But what happened? The Eagles still decided to move on because they were constantly either getting first round exits or just missing the playoffs with winning records. Kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers are right now. So what does Andy Reid do? He leaves, he goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, revitalizes his career, and makes them one of the best franchises known to mankind right now. The Eagles, on the other hand, they go a different way. They have a few Super Bowl appearances and even 2 Super Bowl wins, the first 2 in franchise history under their belt, post Andy Reid. One with Doug Peterson and one with Nick Sirianni. So I believe it is time. Mike Tomlin needs to go to a brand new team. He can coach another team. He can still coach. He's a damn good coach. But the Pittsburgh Steelers need a new foundation, and that starts with the head coach. If I am Rooney today, looking ahead at this Baltimore Ravens game, this game is the final straw. You don't figure things out against the division opponent that, keep in mind, did not have Lamar Jackson for several weeks. Keep in mind, we're bottom of the division at one point in time with the Cleveland Browns. They are now back in playoff contention. As of right now, if the season ended today, Pittsburgh's on the outside looking in. Baltimore is your AFC North champions. This game is the most important game of the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am not putting the blame on Aaron Rodgers. It is unforeseen circumstances due to him. I believe he's actually played pretty solid this year. He's had a couple of bad games. The last couple of weeks were shaky. But the Pittsburgh Steelers have a bigger issue here. They have a broader picture, and it starts with Mike Tomlin.
This game has huge implications, not just for betting, not for anything but playoffs. Because if you can't even roll out a 4-8 team, that says something. If we're talking about the Bengals still trying to be in playoff contention, that tells you that the Ravens and Steelers are definitely in for it if this Joe Burrow team can win out and Steelers and Ravens both lose the next few weeks. I think this is a perfect time, since we're rounding out our episode, is to talk about another huge implication this week. It's Dallas Cowboys against the Detroit Lions. Dallas had a huge win against the Kansas City Chiefs Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. Wonderful game. They've won the last 2. They beat 2 Super Bowl teams in 4 days. Eagles before, now the Chiefs. This game against the Lions, Austin, it's another huge one. It's playoff implications on the line. Dallas either needs to win out. Well, first, actually, they do need to win out, or they need some help along the way. One being, you need to win Thursday night, period. That is it. You need to win. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You need to beat this Detroit Lions team. I think the biggest takeaway with this Lions team is if you stop this team on 4th down, you got it. Because they went 0-2 for 4th down conversions against the Green Bay Packers. We know Dan Campbell has been very aggressive this year. And if you're not aggressive enough, if you can't beat his aggressiveness, then that trouble lies ahead. But Thursday night, this game means everything. You need to win, period. And your defense needs to show up. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, this game is equally as important for both teams because the Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys are the top two teams in the hunt right now in terms of the NFC playoff bracket. They're both outside looking in right now. Chicago obviously leads the NFC North, and the Philadelphia Eagles are leading the NFC East. Even with the Cowboys beating the Eagles this year, I still personally believe the Eagles will win the division. As of right now, I have the Bears and Packers as the top two teams in the NFC North, so I don't see the Lions winning it. But I could definitely see both of these teams making it into the playoffs. Dallas a little less likely than Detroit due to some of their losses this year. I believe the Chicago game hurt them. I believe the Cardinals game hurt them. I believe the Panthers game hurt them. And that Packers tie was awful. They should have won that game, but Dallas sold in the end. Without going too serious, without going too crazy here on the Dallas Cowboys, I will give them credit where credit is due. They held their own against the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't want anybody to come out here because I was reading some ESPN posts actually while you were going on your scramble there. Why are we criticizing Patrick Mahomes? Are we really acting like he's the reason why they lost this game? It's plain and simple. Both quarterbacks showed up and showed out. It was a pure slugfest between Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes. They were both incredible. They were both sensational. But to blame Patrick Mahomes when he is literally the Superman of this team, putting the entire team on his back. How many drops did this team have again? How many drops did Kelsey have? How many drops did Hollywood Brown have again? How many penalties did the Kansas City Chiefs have? Now, I'm not big into officiating, and again, I'm not going to say the officials gave the Cowboys the game, because they did not. They were awful on both sides, but they definitely gave more calls to the Chiefs, and that's because the Chiefs are a penalized team. This has been a reoccurring problem all year long. The Chiefs are beating themselves. They are beating themselves. And the Cowboys capitalized on that, and I got to give them the credit. But here's the issue with the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are way too risky of a team. They are way too risky of a team. Dallas, as much as I criticize them and as much as I get on them, they play relatively conservative football, especially on offense. They do a really good job at protecting the ball. If George Pickens shows up, I don't see why the Cowboys would lose this game. I personally believe the Lions are going to win. I'm just going to say that right now. I do have the Lions beating the Dallas Cowboys. But I am not saying the Lions are going to smoke the Cowboys. I'm not saying the Lions are going to embarrass the Cowboys. I personally believe the Cowboys are actually going to play better than the Lions. I just have a feeling that the Lions are going to get that last second win, whether it's a field goal, whether it's a fumble, whether it's a blocked punt. Something's going to happen in this game because the stakes are way too high. It's not going to come down to what quarterback plays better. It's not going to come down to what defense plays better. It's going to come down to what team makes the mistake first. I believe Dallas is going to be that team.
At the time of this recording, there is no assignments yet that have been assigned for week 14. John Hussey and his crew are the most, I think, that ever called defensive pass interference. And we saw that. Once you have two guys like George Pickens and the Chiefs guy, I'm trying to think at number 22. When you get these two.
McDuffie?
What?
McDuffie?
Yes, McDuffie. When you get these two guys squared up, and I think this was Gene Steratore that said it, you have to let these two play it out because these two always will fight for whoever gets what. You could again make the case against George Pickens, him pushing off against offensive pass interference, and McDuffie getting there early. But you can pinpoint, Austin, no matter who you put up against George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, if they are able to draw the defensive pass interference, that is a huge advantage on significant amount of plays, especially when you're trying to convert third and long. I know that's an if situation, but if you want Dak to throw the ball and you want him to draw that penalty, you have a good 90 to a 95% chance of that being called. I hate to use that stat here. Fine, I'll even go worse. You have about a 60 or about a 66, 67% chance of getting that call. When you get two highly wide receivers, tight ends squared away, you will most likely get the defensive pass interference call. But Jake Ferguson, he's another Cowboys player that is on the rise and is being used in this offense. If you're able to get one of these guys the ball, it's game over, especially in open field. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Brandon Aubrey, any player on this offense needs to show up as well as the defense. Stop the Lions, and if they cannot convert on fourth down, capitalize on it. Use that to your advantage.
It's all going to come down to who makes the mistake first. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun game. Of course, I'll be at Thursday Night Fights for Chapter 3 of 880 Wrestling, but I'll be certainly tuning into this game because this is a much watch. The stakes could literally not be any higher. With that all being said, though, Nicholas Brown, it is my birthday. And I will like to say this. I'm actually going to City Works tonight if the weather decides to hold up. I'm hoping that it does. My parents said that if the roads are still bad by the time they get home, we're not going. So I'm banking on it. I'm banking on it. Because I didn't go anywhere today. I was going to get a haircut, but I decided not to. I was like, I don't feel like it.
City Works, we've been there countless amount of times.
It's a good place.
We each get the same thing every time. It's delicious. Nothing can diss City Works. I will say we have yet to go to City Works for a football game. That is when the primetime action is. Given all the amount of
Yes.
TVs they have in there, we need to definitely try that out on a Sunday or whenever the Steelers play because City Works is a home to many places, especially in Pittsburgh, Steelers away or home. The amount of TVs and how big those TVs are in there, that is a prime place for football.
Couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. Well, that is going to do it for episode 50 of the Steel City Commuters podcast. I do have one last final announcement I would like to make. This upcoming Sunday on both Two Jagoffs and Steel City Commuters, that's right, I said both, we are doing another crossover episode. Episode 51 is actually going to be coming out on a Sunday rather than a Wednesday this week. We will be joined with Ted Black, Point Park University's very own. He's a good friend of both Nick and I. We're actually going to go grab lunch with him later this week. We'll talk about that in next week's episode when we recap it. But I love Ted. Ted came and supported us at Two Jagoffs Live. He's obviously met with both of us in private. We've shared lots of emails, conversations over text, on LinkedIn, and both of us had the pleasure of interviewing him. The episode is already scheduled and ready to go out, and I cannot wait for it to come out. It's going to be a fun one.
I'm excited.
Final
I
cro-
really am. Ted is amazing.
Oh, we love Ted. Final crossover of the year, too, which I'm excited for. Final crossover special of the year. We'll
Yes.
do many more in 2026, but that is actually all for this week. Nick, you got any final words in this last minute?
Not even a last minute. We gotta go.
Okay, we got to go. Wrap it on up. Oh, that's a microphone. Anyway, thank you all so much again for tuning into the Steel City Commuters Up podcast. I'm Austin Cairns. That is downtown Nick Brown. See you all on Sunday.
Peace.